I have carried a camera when I was basically a teenager. I start filming what's happening to my village and villages around me, to me and my family. All the violence that's from settlers, from Israeli army. The reason why I start filming it, because all the time I see bulldozers entering our communities, destroying homes, properties, and leaving other violence that's happening on the ground. But I felt that this is even not interested for a lot of journalists to come to write about what's happening or to talk about it. It means like this reality became a routine. And for us, it's not a routine. For the families who are losing their homes and for those who are suffering, it's not a routine, and people should like know about us. And this is why I carried a camera and start to film. I wanted the world to know that we live in this land, that we exist, and to see what we face on daily basis under this brutal occupation. I tried different ways to share the clips that I start filming. I tried social media, sharing videos on social media, writing texts about what's happening. I wrote some articles. And about 5 years ago, I started with my friends and co-directors and colleagues to work on No Other Land documentary as a first experience, to make a documentary that basically, as you just watched, just like telling and showing our daily life under this occupation. And we started this journey together. We faced many challenges, like during the 5 years. It's what moved me and my friends. It's just we want the world to care about what's happening, and I wanted like political impact for what we are facing. The movie succeeded beyond our expectations. Like the name of Masafer Yatta, I brought it to different stages around the world, and last one was the Oscar. Something we didn't expect, but it happened, and we're proud of it. But even after winning the Oscar, we went back to the same reality, and this is like a challenge and a sad moment, to be honest, that to win and to succeed, all this success around the world, showing the story of Masafer Yatta, but at the same time going to the reality that's only changing from worse and to worse. 3 weeks after the winning of the Oscar, there was a masked settlers attack on the village of Susia in one of the Masafer Yatta communities against one of co-directors, Hamdan Bellal. One settler and 2 Israeli soldiers reached him at his home and start beating him in front of his door while he's just trying to protect his family and his children from settlers' attack that was going on in the village. There was like around 20 settlers vandalizing other homes in the same village and destroying properties, stabbing water tanks, smashing cars in the community. And Hamdan tried to protect his family by locking the door of his house and standing outside to prevent the settlers from entering inside his house and attacking his family. The 2 soldiers and the settlers start beating him up with their guns and with their legs by kicking him and hitting him with the guns for 15 minutes, and then abducted him, preventing him from having any medical treatment, and abducted him with another 2 Palestinians from the community to a military base. The Israeli army refused to give any information to his family, to us, about his situation, about what's happening to him. And only after almost 20 hours that he spent on the military base blindfolded and handcuffed and was humiliated all the night, and soldiers just making fun of him and about the Oscar and hitting him, preventing him to have water or any medical treatment by doctors. And when he was brought to the interrogation, they basically just claim that he attacked the settler, and which was untrue. The settler reached to his home and attacked him. Then he had to pay a bill, and only after that he was able to leave the police station and to go to a Palestinian hospital to receive medical treatment. The settlers' violence is happening today and increased in the last 17 months in a huge numbers, and almost every day there is settlers like attacks on Masafer Yatta and all over the communities across the West Bank since the beginning of this year, January 1st, 2025, in Masafer Yatta itself, we had almost 100 settler attack. I want to speak today about a story, and the most fearing story that I ever filmed about settlers' violence. It happened on October 13th, 2023 in my village. It was a Friday day. I was sitting in my home, and I hear the noise outside of children and women screaming, outrageous, and I knew that something happening. I took my camera and ran outside of the door. I saw two settlers, one of them with the rifle and one soldier backing them. They walked from the illegal nearest outpost, coming closest to the mosque, which is almost in the center of my village. The Palestinian prayers were leaving the mosque at that moment. And I continue filming of what's happening. Basically, the settler with the rifle came down to the prayers, like few meters from the soldier that was backing him. And I saw him, I was in a distance like 150 meters, and he hit a Palestinian person in the chest and went back one step and shot the Palestinian in the stomach. And that was the most fearing moment. I was like almost crying, calling the Israeli police, and I wanted anybody to do anything at that moment. Just a few moments later, I realized that the guy that was shot was my cousin. And he was taken to the hospital by private car, spending 30 minutes almost to reach the hospital because all entrances were blocked by the Israeli soldiers in the previous days, and we were hardly moving out and into the city to buy our things. And he was bleeding for half an hour inside the car, and the driver trying to find any entrance to the hospital. The soldier simply waved to the settler, and the three of them walked back to the outpost as nothing happened on the ground. And my cousin spent 83 days at the hospital. 60 of them he was in the ICU in a critical situation, fighting for his life. The video was very clear, showing the face of the settler, the crime, and it happened from vacuum. Just a soldier and two settlers decided to come down to the community and commit a crime. I went to the police to give a testimony. Other 6 Palestinians, including my uncle, the father of my cousin, to give testimonies. My cousin were, after 3 months, only able to reach to the police station to give a complaint against the settler. And the surprise, they detained him inside the police station for almost 10 hours and forcing him to pay a bill to be able to go outside. The settlers did not face any detention for this crime that he committed. And after a few months of the crime that he shot my cousin, I filmed the same settler coming to the community, attacking another activist, and some of them were Israeli left-wing activists against the occupation. And the same thing, he's still free, and he's still able to come to any community in Masafer Yatta, to any family, and attack them. The scene of shooting my cousin make everybody in the community in Masafer Yatta and everywhere in the West Bank freaking out and fearing for our safety, because this settler has a full impunity, and we know that it's motivate other settlers to come and to commit crimes against us, and this is what they are doing basically. So this shows that these crimes not just happening because these are radical right-wing terrorist settlers want to commit crimes and want to attack us, the Palestinians, which is true, but this is a state policy, a strategy to displace us from our land and to take it over to build illegal settlements and outposts. Since that crime happened on that Friday in the South Hebron area, we lost 7 Palestinian communities. Whole villages were displaced, and mainly because of settlers, soldiers, violence. We have cases where soldiers and settlers in uniform entering Palestinian homes at midnight, taking the men outside and the whole family outside and pointing a gun to the head of the man of the home and telling him, if you don't leave in 24 hours, we will come back and shot you to death. And this has led that Palestinians start to flee from these crimes that's happening in Masafer Yatta. So basically, we are in a situation where we are surrounded by these now settlements and illegal outposts and illegal settlements with the Israeli soldiers who's complicit and the police who's complicit and giving impunity and supportive to the settlers to attack Masafer Yatta and other communities across the West Bank. And the goal is very clear, is to taking over our land and to build their illegal settlements and outposts and to expand their projects on our land. This policy, combined with the policies of the home demolitions and the properties demolitions, as you saw in the clip where a Palestinian family their home was destructed by the Israeli bulldozers. This family, I know them personally. I know they lost their home since 2019. At least 5 times the army come and destroy it, and they rebuild it. The army come and destroyed it, and they rebuild it. And last time they lost their home was in May 2022. And since then, they were not able to build a new home. They are now living in an ancient cave in that community. And the last demolition happened was right after a court decision, Israeli Supreme Court decision against Masafer Yatta, which is to give the Israeli military the green light to displace 1,000 Palestinian people in order, under the pretext and the claim that this is a firing zone area. It was designated earlier in the 80s, 14 communities out of the 20 in Masafer Yatta as a firing zone area, which is basically to displace the 14 communities in order to give the land to the Israeli military to do military exercises and trainings in our land. But we know that this is not the truth, and even though it's violating the international law, today the truth in the ground is very clear. There is many Israeli illegal outposts and settlements being built on the ground, but Palestinians are not allowed to build, and this is how the law is weaponized against us, where we as Palestinians living in these communities, illegal for us to build a home, illegal to build a school, illegal to have a clean water, illegal to have electricity, roads, but the opposite for the settlers, where the state facilitate the building of settlements, illegal outposts, roads, whatever they want, these settlers. It's really clear, and the movie show it how systematically happening on the ground, how our communities are squeezed more and more by the demolitions, by settlers' violence, by the attacks that we face both from soldiers and settlers, and the settlements and illegal outposts are growing more and more on our land. We are continuing our struggle against this crimes, against the occupation, against our displacement, and we are steadfastness on our land. But I don't know for how long we can keep holding these crimes and facing these attacks and this brutality and keep a stand on our land. It's a struggle that my father started it, and his father, my grandfather as well, started this struggle against this occupation and displacement. This is why I'm here today. This is why I made No Other Land, and this is why I continue to work and to come to talk to the world at the Oscars, here at the UN, everywhere I can around the world, to tell my story and the story of the Palestinian people in Masafer Yatta, in the West Bank, in Gaza, in East Jerusalem, elsewhere, until we reach our freedom and to live on our land with freedom and dignity. And I hope that my daughter and my nephew will not have to do the same work in the future, and they will be living in a different reality where they have full rights as human beings and doesn't have to live under rules of foreign military. But unfortunately, with the reality that we are living today, with what we are facing, I'm not hopeful. But that doesn't mean that we should give up, and that means that we should work together, not just keep speaking, but really to do more and to work more to try to change the reality and to hold accountability to the occupation, to the Israeli settlers, to the soldiers, to everyone who committing crimes in order to enforce the international law, in order to enforce a solution. Thank you.